Hello everyone, my name is Tim from Group 9. Today we will talk about a gap analysis on the 2019 Integrated Report, a real estate investment company. Our group has 5 members, including me, Yue Liu, Jing Li, Kip Varnes, and Sichuan. In this course, we all learned about the benefits and application of integral thinking as well as integral report. However, when applying in the real life, it could be more difficult. Indeed, after researching and analyzing the report of DESUS, we have investigated 5 key gaps. We could lead to make understanding to the audience, especially the financial provider. These are stakeholder relationship, consciousness, business model, risk and opportunity, and the final one is outlook. The first gap is about the stakeholders relationship. DESUS has done very well in terms of realizing their relevant stakeholder, which include their customer, investor, employee, and the community. However, the way they close the information may cause the imbalance in receiving information. They give too much information about the key stakeholder, but not sufficient data about their business partners such as bank, suppliers, and contractor. It may lead to be more difficult to assess their business. We've made comparison with 2019 report of Tata Steel, where information about relevant stakeholder has been well prepared. I recommend that DESUS should apply that way, and they can give more details about the key stakeholder in the next sections, so that the audience could easily imagine the overall picture of the company, leading to more appropriate decision making. This is the end of my part. Now we're welcoming my teammate Yue Liu.
Thanks, Doug.
This is Lu. I will talk about how DEXUS align to the guiding principle conciseness. Overall, DEXUS report includes sufficient contents to let user understand the organization's whole picture with internal cross-references. Also, some engaging icons, matrix, and tables are used in DEXUS report, such as on page 26 to 27, but it may be burdened with highly genetic and irrelevant information in certain parts. For organizational overview and external environment, though DEXUS provides a concise explanation of megatrends, it still has unclear and lengthy presentation of impacts and responses. A good example is 2017 Vodafone report. On page 14 to 15, it offers a concise look at 4 key trends under the heading Operating Environment. Each brief explanation of the trend is followed by the strategic implications with icons and numbers, providing connections to the company's strategy. I would recommend DEXUS adding key quantitative information and enhanced connection with the strategy and capitals in this section. Moreover, for page 65 to 66, the discussion on governance includes a lengthy and overly detailed introduction of individual directors, which has little relevance with how the board engaged with the value creation over the past year and into the future. Compared with that, the Crown Estate brings the board's activities alive in concise and informative manner. It demonstrates actions the boards have taken to contribute to value creation of the past year. Information is provided using concise bullet points to highlight actions and progress made on main areas of evaluation, with a balance between conciseness, completeness, and comparability. I would suggest that DEXUS should keep the chart that concisely demonstrate board structure and focus. It should contain more discussion about how governance supports value creation activities and risk management approaches. Well, let's move on to the next part with Jing.
Thanks, Lu, and hi, this is Jing Li, and I will talk about the business model. DEXUS has adopted a clear and concise diagram to illustrate their business model. However, there are still some gaps you might want to improve. The first one is the inexplicit output and outcome. DEXUS has used the value created to replace the output and outcome. However, it might be difficult for a non-accounting background report user to distinguish whether the property and portfolio belongs to output or outcome. Compared to Oceania's business model, they adopted the terminologies which recommended by the LRC and clearly listed the key components separately. Therefore, the recommendations for DEXUS is to improve the distinctions of their output and outcome, then identify each component separately. The second gap I found about DEXs is a lack of detailed explanation with their key components. Report users might find it difficult to understand the activities since DEXs only use the three words to explain it. Compared to the Crown Estate, their What We Do part illustrates the detail of their business activities and how they created value. The recommendation is to adopt a narrative explanation and add more details when preparing the business model to improve their understanding. The last gap is linked back to the stakeholders. The stakeholders as a report user would like to see how those created value could impact on them. And Oceania shows a good example as it has a part called value proposition in their business model to show how those creative value could share to Oceania stakeholders. And apparently, DEXs doesn't include this part. Therefore, we recommend DEXs to add a part to show how those creative value could share with their stakeholders. For next part, I will introduce you Ken.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Kip Benes, and I have reviewed how DEXs incorporates the content element of risks and opportunities in their integrated report. The IR framework calls for information that details the interrelatedness of factors that affect the organization's ability to create value over time. What I have found in reviewing DEXs is that to fully satisfy this requirement, more data is needed. DEXs has the start of a great risks and opportunities segment, however, they are meeting the bare minimum. Duchy of Cornwall includes a heat map which plots the likelihood and the severity of the risk in a concise visual aid as seen on the right. The indicated movement of those points are the forecasted changes to the impact and likelihood due to the effectiveness of their mitigation tactics. I would therefore recommend that DEXs include a similar heat map in their report. This enhances the readability of the report and communicates a lot of relevant information in an efficient way. This slide focuses on the opportunities that DEXs has identified in their report. In it, they mention opportunities to grow their portfolios and enhance the business through acquisitions. Although these are mostly buried in a narrative about megatrends in the greater environment, or mentioned briefly in the Chair and CEO review. Some can also be found in the strategy section, but the point is, unlike the risks facing the company, the opportunities are scattered throughout the report. In comparison, the company Trueworths advertises their opportunities along with their risks, as seen below. Right alongside the description of the risks and mitigation actions, there are associated opportunities listed with forward-looking plans for the upcoming year. This combined information strengthens the report and ties back to the IR principle of connectivity and of strategic focus. My recommendation then is to gather up all the opportunities that are currently dispersed throughout the report and combine them into one user-friendly section. And I believe this would be met with little objection. And now I pass along to the next presenter.
Thanks, Kip. Here's A Chen. So for the outlook, DEXs did not disclose how to face encountering challenges, and the lack of the detailed implementation plan for future operation may result in inability to effectively carry out internal management and inconsistency in business activities and objectives, which affect the company's expected return. Compared to DEXs, EnBW stated their financial and non-financial key performance indicators and targets and deliver their expected performance in 2020. For the outlook improvement, we suggest DEXs to conduct effective risk management and take care of the stakeholders' relationships, which help them better manage the diversified corporation. In addition, owning a stable and flexible business ability enables a company to adapt the changing environment better. And secondly, DEXs did not disclose the forecast of future performance of the company, which related to the capital management. What is worth referring to from EnBW integrated report is they demonstrated the comparison of the past and future market situations and proposed the performance expectations. Therefore, we recommend DEXs to link the capital management, which is very important for the company, to long-term value creation and set specific objectives under the positive estimation. Come to the conclusion, our group summarized key findings from DEX's 2019 annual report and gave relevant recommendations accompanied by examples of other companies' report to improve the corporate reporting. Since a comprehensive and effective annual report with the demonstration of value creation process can provide sufficient information to their stakeholders for the further investment. Okay, that's all about our presentation. Thank you for watching and your listening.